This is the Unspecialed Podcast. Today I'm joined with Chris Curran, also known as CC underscore Coco's underscore dad on Instagram. Super stoked to have him on. Chris is an autism advocate, autism dad, former professional baseball player, and Between the Lines podcast host that's going to be kicking off here shortly. Chris, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Zach, thank you for having me, man. I love your channel and I love everything that you're doing. And through a mutual friend and person that you did an interview with, it's good to actually be on and get to talk to you.
Yeah, I threw it out to her. I'm like, hey, you know any dads that would be interested in being on? And she's like, oh, yeah, hit up Coco's dad.
Yeah,
So,
and that's how I'm known today. I'm known as Coco's dad, and it seems like such a smaller community of fathers as opposed to mothers that it's when you see a dad, you're like, hey, we're the same.
right. And I mean, I think a lot of moms obviously are on the front lines, and some of the dads they kind of get overlooked.
Yeah,
But obviously, you're in the thick of it as well. So it's always good to get the male perspective.
it is.
Tell me about Coco, also known as Cole.
Well, I mean, he's amazing. He's very active. He's very tall, kind of like his mom. So he's 4 years old. He's 4 feet tall. So
Jeez,
that's
nice.
it's a little bit different because I'm really not that tall. So
Uh-huh.
it's a first for me. My joke is I pick him up to reach the snacks on the refrigerator because I can't.
Nice.
Yeah, so he just started up preschool last September 2024 and he absolutely loves it.
Nice.
It's a nerve-wracking part of the process when you have to send a kiddo to school and you're figuring everything out for the first time with a nonverbal kid.
Yeah.
And by day two, he was running into school.
Wow.
And it was like on day one, we weren't ready because he was so ready for school that we're like, what do we do? Aren't we supposed to be freaking out?
Yeah,
But he was
right.
fine with it. Yeah, it was
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, so did he just start kindergarten now?
So he's gonna go through a second year of preschool, which
Preschool.
is very nice. Same classroom, same school, obviously, similar kids. They go through a 2 year process where we are here. So, and they're half days. So that's
All
nice as
right.
well as he gets into the swing of things because he obviously still has speech, occupational therapy, and those kinds of services. So
Yeah.
that has been amazing for us. It's been such a great transition.
Nice. Yeah, that's not always the case for sure. So
Yeah,
did
we're
you know like the staff or the teacher beforehand? Do you get any like intro meetings?
so we did have a quick introduction, which was 30 minutes, and we got to bring Cole so he could see the classroom. And what I had done leading up to that is we knew where his classroom was, and we're 3 minutes away from his school. So I drove him to his school every single day for a week. Because, yeah, he's the type of kiddo that if you park outside of a location he doesn't know, he starts to hit the panic button. So we began letting him go to the playground there because that's where he would play and he would build that familiarity with the school. And 2 days before he started school, we actually got to meet the teacher and he got to play with the toys and see his cubby and everything like that. So it was awesome.
Yeah, that transition. That's huge. What was it like dropping him off that first day of preschool? Were
It
you and
was more,
your wife freaking out a little bit, or
yeah.
like what?
Yeah, we were more nervous than he was. He was absolutely fine, and his teacher's amazing. And she's like, I will text you if anything's wrong, if I'm seeing certain things, if he needs to be picked up. And we're just waiting around and nothing's happening. And she sends us a picture of him, and she's like, he's doing perfectly fine.
Nice.
So we were the nervous ones the entire time. And he's loved school ever since.
Well, that's cool. You had that communication on the teacher front.
Yeah, we're very lucky out here in Massachusetts. The schooling for special needs is amazing where we live.
Okay.
So his classroom's like it's a max of 9 kids in one main teacher and two paras.
Okay. Yep.
And then I believe a lot of the paras go back and forth between the preschool and the kindergarten class. So as he moves up, he'll know the same paras.
Yeah. Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I started my teaching career. I was in a kindergarten preschool class, and I started out as a para. I was a substitute para. I had no idea what it meant. I showed up the first day, and a kid kicked me in the shin, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then I remember I just ran around campus all day chasing kids, and I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
I ended up teaching for 7 years. But that was a similar setting. I had a day class. Was he in any included in some of the general ed classes?
No, so they actually just have their own, which,
Okay.
is it's very helpful initially, at least from a father's standpoint and what I believe some of his needs are.
Yeah.
Now, he was an extended school year, which is a mix of that. And that's about anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks that they have that program. And they start off the day, they go to the cafeteria, and it's all the kids.
Right.
So the
That's a
the
lot.
it is, and especially for someone like him, where loud noises will get to him, he actually did pretty well. He did pretty well. So I think next year they're going to do that a little bit more and include him, but we'll have to wait to see.
Yeah. Well, and I think I mean these kiddos, right? They're capable of so much. And
They are.
sometimes it's like stress about it. But yeah, even yesterday, I started. My oldest started playing baseball, and
There you go.
I'm coaching his team. He's 8, and one of the kids on the team is autistic, and his dad came up to me and he's like, "Yo, here's my son." And immediately, I mean, I worked with autism for 7 years. I'm around it. Immediately when I saw him, I knew he has some
Yeah.
autism going on. And his dad, I was like, "Hey, he's fine with me. Like, this is my jam. I'm so pumped he's here. I'll
Yeah.
work with him." And he's a blast.
That's
They just want to be with everyone.
They do. They do. And it's such in from a father standpoint for that guy, it's got to be just amazing to hear because it's not always that level of
True.
comfort and introduction of like, hey, I'm someone you don't need to worry about. You might have to feel like you worry about everyone else, but he's safe here. Like this is his place. You
Right,
know.
right.
That's
Man.
awesome.
Yeah. So tell me about the early days. When did you find out he had autism, or what were you seeing? What was that like?
Well, as you know, a lot of the parents will go based on timelines. Are they walking at this month? Are they talking? Are they waving? And a lot of those kind of get floated around as we have friends with kids around our son's age. So that part was always something that you were seeing and noticing. And my wife, Kayla, had kind of picked up some of the signs first of like whether it was like dexterity and communication, things along those lines. We did notice he had a lot of stimming going on. You could see the frustration because he wanted to tell you something, but he couldn't. But for us, we were very accepting and receptive of it. There was never downplaying the situation of like, well, it'll, maybe that will just come in time. It was more we were going with it in trying to see what we could develop and what some of the deficiencies may have been. So
Yeah.
it allowed us to keep an open mind rather than trying to fix things. We had to learn as parents, this is where he is right now. Let's be with him, let's work with him, and let's see how things go. And she was very proactive with getting on all the waiting lists and calling to see if there were any cancellations. She was the mom that called every day,
Nice.
and in Boston Children's like, oh, it's an 18-month wait. It's a 2 year wait.
18 months. Jeez.
Yeah, and she ended up getting on a list that was 4 to 6 months. And literally 3 weeks later, they called and they said, we have a cancellation. Can you be here tomorrow? So on January 27th, 2023, we brought him in. He received a verbal diagnosis at that point in time, and then we received it later on in the mail. But it was very relieving for us.
Was it okay?
It's weird sometimes if you view it that point, but it it reassured the things that we had saw,
Okay.
and it also knew that we would be able to provide him services.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing, was like, okay, now we can begin that long process of speech, occupational therapy. We're backed by insurance to be able to provide that kind of support for him. So it was we had seen it, like you said too, like you can see certain things.
Right. That's huge. I mean, a lot of families go through the denial phase, like, and then the comparing game is huge. Like, with their friends or with the siblings, some are doing this and that, and yours isn't, and then there's that denial phase. But it doesn't seem like you had that at all. You just got to work. How did you come to that mindset?
I knew that as him being him and him being his own person. So I come from a big baseball family. I have three older brothers. We all play baseball. All of our kids are like, you think that they're all going to play sports too. So, but for me, it was like he's his own person. If he chooses to play sports, cool. If he doesn't, that's cool too. And just accepting him for being his own person allowed me to kind of see who he was, his strengths, his weaknesses, his differences, and things like that, and love him for him, essentially.
Yeah,
So when I had seen some of these things in some of the signs, and for our family, it was more so embraced. It was brought in of like, no, this is him. Like for me, I live in Coco's world. I'm not trying to put him into everyone else's and change. It's tough to change the entire world and how everyone sees it. So I was like, no, this is me. So if you're going to be around us, these are the kind of things that we look for and require. Our families have been receptive of that as well.
that's amazing. Yeah, so what's the family dynamic? Do you have any other kids?
No, so no other kids. So for us as parents, it's all we know. So I have, four or five other nephews, and we have extended family essentially, but all boys. So,
Okay.
so yeah, it's all boys in our family. There's five grandkids. So as you had seen it made sense in many ways
Yeah,
because we had seen all the other kiddos growing up.
right.
Cole was the one lining up rocks,
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So, um, everyone else they kind of came they I don't want to say they came around to it. It was a little
yeah.
bit different at first, but Kayla's parents are amazing. Her
Wow.
mother's a school teacher of 30 years. um,
She's seen a
so
few things.
she had seen a few things. She knows how to respond to certain situations, and it was new news because he was the first diagnosed in both sides of the family.
Okay.
So it was really, and kudos to my wife. She's amazing. She was kind of the front runner in so many ways of, I hate to say like normalizing it, but making it like, hey guys, this is the situation. This is what we're doing.
Right.
And a lot of people just jumped on board with it.
Yeah. No, that's great. Good for you guys. Yeah, how was it on the marriage front? Like, obviously, marriage is difficult, and then you throw in a higher support needs child. Was there some things you guys had to learn, get on the same page, or you had a good foundation?
Good foundation is very helpful.
Yeah.
It's easy because she's my best friend. I would like to think I'm hers, because I'm cool.
Most of the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. But no, for us, it's always been a little bit easier because we bring levity to the relationship. We're
Okay.
friends as well, so it was never the a lot of the daily pressures that are put on each other. We're both very well relaxed. I have a lot of flexibility in my work schedule. I work for a great company, so in the
Nice.
mornings she's with him, and in the nights I'm with him. So he's always with one of us. So the communication's always been there of what he's eating. Is he going to the bathroom? Is That's always been there. And we do mix it up by at night, her parents will watch him because they live really close by.
Okay.
And we can go out to dinner and have our normal relationship type of thing.
Wow.
So, but
Yeah.
the communication has been key because we're not always parenting together.
Hmm.
So that's kind of forced me to not be the lazy dad, to
Yeah.
be the tired and active dad, because when like when he's sick, when he's hungry, when he needs a bath, I'm the only one here
Yeah.
for the night times. So that's
Okay.
been the dynamics of our relationship have actually gotten stronger because the
Man.
communication has had to improve.
Yeah, communication. It sounds like you have defined roles, and
Hmm.
the expectation is there. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
That's
you're
amazing.
relying you're relying on each other to take care of the person you love the most.
Yeah, and you have your family, the support network. I think a
Yeah.
lot of families don't have that. Not a luxury, but they don't have that. So everything is increasingly more difficult. But the fact that you can get out and just be married. That's huge too.
Yeah, it is. It's important to have those date nights. Just going out to
Right.
dinner and throwing on a decent shirt that doesn't have drool on it at times, or isn't ripped and tangled. It's
Or
nice.
just putting a shirt on.
It's just wearing a shirt. Absolutely.
That's
That's funny.
funny. Tell me about your baseball days. When did you, yeah, so you played competitively your whole life, I'm assuming. And then you climbed the ranks and you were professional?
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, I grew up with three older brothers, and my father was really good as well. So baseball just came natural to us. There was never convincing any of us to go to games. It's just what you did. We played all three sports: baseball, football, basketball, and I just played town ball. Like we didn't have travel baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't, you weren't paying a ton of money. You were paying $10 and playing in your local league. So I had done that, and in my junior year, I actually kind of realized I was pretty good at it and that I
Yeah.
could go to college for it. So I stopped playing high school football my senior year and I focused on baseball. And then I went to Miami-Dade Community College, and it's a baseball factory. So my freshman year, 5 people were drafted out of that school. In my sophomore year, 9 of us were drafted.
Jeez.
So it was, you went there to get drafted. So I ended up
Okay.
signing with the Washington Nationals in 2008 and played 5 seasons there, and then played 2 seasons of independent league in New Jersey. So I had bounced around a little bit and had a lot of fun playing baseball. And it was, it's definitely something I loved and something that formed me as a person.
Yeah, yeah. Random question. Did you know a guy named Sammy Solis?
I do.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
My roommate in college, that was his best friend, and I went to Point Loma in San Diego. Sammy went to University of San Diego, and
Okay.
we would go hang out every so often.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a stud.
Yeah,
He was. He
yeah.
was unbelievable.
I think he got drafted right at that time too.
Yeah. Yeah, we
He-
played on the same team for a little bit of
okay.
time, but yeah, he was real good.
Yeah,
He was real good.
a big dude. He threw hard.
Yeah.
What did you play?
So I mainly played outfield. I was drafted as a second baseman because at the time Dustin Pedroia was the big thing in Boston, and I'm 5'7". So they're like, he's from Boston, he can play second base.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks into like basically spring training, they put me back in center field,
Uh,
and I played center field and left field my entire career. So I'm the fast guy. I'm the guy who's running around tracking everything down.
yeah. Oh, that's fun. When did you stop playing?
So I stopped officially playing in 2014. I retired, and then I started working. My best friend out here was like, just come work here, for in a warehouse, and just started working my way up there as well. And now 11 years later, I'm the director of pharmaceutical logistics.
Okay.
I get to play with numbers and square footage in my head, and I use my baseball stat knowledge to
Yeah.
try to help me configure and work a few things out, and it's worked out.
Well, it's crazy how when you look back and you can see like, oh, this led to this, and it set me up to be where you are now. Like the baseball skills, the determination, the discipline, and the mindset of being a ball
Yeah, it's
player.
It's unbelievable. I've been very fortunate with my career, family, friends, everything. Like everything is just pieced out so perfectly, from like a tough upbringing to having the right mentor at the right time to lead you to that next step of your life.
Yeah.
And I look at it too. My big thing is like I always thought I was put here to play baseball, but then I realized I was really put here to be Cole's dad. So it took me going through that 33 years of life to then have a kid to realize like, oh, that was all practice for this game.
Right.
So
This is the real game.
this is the real game.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What do you do to take care of yourself?
So I actually, for the first time in 5 years, I just started playing baseball again.
Yeah, like a
Yeah, local leagues like Boston leagues and stuff like that. So my older brother Brian, he's my best friend, he always plays. He plays on 2 to 3 teams a year, and he finally pulled me in to play this year.
Yeah.
And Kayla's like, get out of the house. Like, you need something for
Yeah.
you.
Totally.
You need something for you. It's good for you. A better you is a better family. So I actually started playing on Sundays and I enjoy it,
Okay.
man. It is
That's
fun.
fun. You get all the competitive juices come back.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
different though. It's like old man ball.
it is. It is. There's some good ball players in that league. There really are. I've realized I'm not in the shape I once was 5 years
Right.
ago when I played, and I wasn't a dad. So I'm texting asking how Coco's doing.
Right.
So that stuff's just been awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been my self-care is getting back into baseball.
Getting back in the ball. Yeah, I played collegiate golf, and so every time I get to get out, it's fun. But then there's still like that frustration of, man, I used to be able to hit that shot all day, every day, and then you can't hit it
Dude,
anymore.
let me tell you something. You would think if you don't really play sports or if you play baseball, like you would think golf is easy. Like the ball's on the tee, you hit it. I've hit off a tee playing baseball.
Right.
There's nothing more frustrating than for me being a former professional athlete and I cannot hit a golf ball.
Yeah.
And when I do hit it, it goes straight up and I'm like, I should be able to make the adjustment. And it makes you just have such an appreciation for the talent you have to be a golfer.
I know everybody harps on it. It's like, oh, the ball's not even moving, but there's so much. It's so technical.
It is. I could not figure it out just going to the driving range. I won't even step on a golf course because I'm like I can't even hit the ball.
It's no longer fun.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So, did you know anything about autism before Coco?
No idea.
No idea.
Nothing.
So you had to
Nothing.
figure out everything.
Everything was from scratch.
Yeah.
We didn't really know anybody or any families, so it was all new to us. So
Yeah.
last year I started diving into books in Audible a lot. And I read like 19 books last year
Wow.
on it alone and just kind of became obsessed with all of my downtime while doing the dishes and cleaning at night. I was just going to pop in the headphones and listen to anything I could really get my hands on.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to see a lot of the similarities from, authors who have worked with people on the spectrum, parents telling their story, adults who are now speaking that talk about their insights in life growing into it. And you just try to gather all these perspectives
Right.
and figure out how you're going to tell your story and how you can kind of approach it a little bit better day to day. So it's just such a learning process.
Yeah.
And as you know, you meet one kid with autism, you've met one
You've
kid.
met
So
one.
yeah.
Right. So, what were some of the top books?
Um, the first one that the first one that I would highly recommend was Uniquely Human.
Okay.
Um, Unbelievable book. It comes from the perspective of someone who's worked with, I believe it was like 10,000 or has spoken to 10,000 autistic people or parents and had just studied so many different families and offered that perspective. And one thing I liked about Barry, he would always go back and say, I'm not saying that I know this firsthand. And that was
Right.
always something big to hear in some of these books
Yeah.
is the people who had learned about it would always talk about it. But I think the more you learn about it, the more you realize how much you almost don't know
Yeah.
about it. I only know Cole's autism and then what I read in books. So I know him, but that's where it gets tough to kind of speak on the entire spectrum because it's
Yeah.
different in everyone.
Right. Right. What are your thoughts on like how society views autism?
I think it's coming around.
Yeah.
I think it's coming around. I think the understanding, I think people such as yourself hosting podcasts and speaking to interesting people, and it's like, that's how I get to run into you.
Right.
It's just creating that community. And I think it's big on us normalizing it. I think it's big when you see quote unquote normal people now becoming part of that community and speaking out on it. Like I am Cole's voice. I am his advocate along with his mother, but
Right.
definitely me to kind of fill in that void of the fathers aren't really there. It's like, well, I have a voice as well. So I'm going to speak to my friends and I'll post things of like, just ask. I know it might be uncomfortable for you because it's not your world, but just ask me any question you want. Don't worry about saying it the wrong way or being politically correct. Just ask me because you don't know until you talk to someone. I didn't know 5 years ago either. So I
Yeah.
try to have that level of empathy of like, I don't expect everyone to approach me the same way, that they did 5 years ago,
Right.
but just start, ask the question.
Yeah.
And I do. I think it's coming around. I think people are it's more accepting. There's more awareness on it. And it's on us. It's on us to drive it. I don't expect anyone to just drop what they're doing and read a book or try to understand my world or Cole's world or your world.
Mm-hmm.
It's on me to help try to get the results I want. And that comes with a level of patience. Even
Right.
those days you're frustrating and someone says something the wrong way, and it's like you got to kill them with kindness and education.
Yeah. That's it. It's like just educate them. It's like just speak. And there's so many labels out there on the special needs world that I get frustrated with because it's like you can't say anything right without offending somebody. So I
Yeah,
just stop caring really. But I know once people like get to know me or then they'll realize like, oh, okay, like he loves these kids. It's not like he's trying to say I just talk. It's
yeah,
like an
yeah.
autistic kid or a kid with autism. People have different views on that. Or it's like I don't really care. I just
It's funny you say that because I try not to beat anyone up on what they prefer because that's them. Because people have asked me that. Do you prefer saying he's a child with autism or he's autistic? I'm like, whatever's easiest for you to say, because autism's not a bad word in our household.
right,
You know what I mean? Like
right,
we very embrace it. I am the annoying dad that walks around with like an autism shirt, and
yeah,
I promise you, my wife takes pictures of me. I am laying on the Target floor with my son playing with a toy, and
yeah,
I'm perfectly fine with it. That's our
yeah,
world. You know what I mean? We test out all the pillows and stuffed animals before we buy them because he wants to play with them. Free toys.
yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I am all in at this point in time in working with him and working with anyone who wants to know more or just talk or,
Yeah.
you know.
So what were some of those hardships you faced early on? Like you had to educate yourself in everything, even services like speech services, OT services, or what kind of services is he receiving?
So initially we did BAMSI. BAMSI in our location has like, it's not necessarily for special needs, but it's based on group interactions of kids like up to the age of 3. So he wasn't in school, he wasn't at a daycare because we're home. So it got him to interact with other kids. And then probably 3 to 4 months after his diagnosis, we got into ABA. And it was amazing because
Yeah.
Kayla's mother, she works in the school system. She worked with the special needs teacher who started her own practice, essentially.
Nice.
So she got to come in home and talk to us and hand select based on availability and who she thought was going to be best for Cole. So we had Kelly and Erin were amazing therapists that did different days in home. And that was our initial goal was how do we do this in house? Because we want to be a part of it. We want to learn what you guys are teaching because we're with him and we want to
Mm-hmm.
reinforce those behaviors. And it just, the timing worked out perfectly for us. It
Yeah.
really did. And yeah, you have to search through. You have to search through your OT and your speech therapist, and you have to search through and get prep yourself for IEP meetings and learn all of that stuff. But I always took the challenge. I got that from baseball too.
Yeah.
Always being the smallest guy, I was like, there's always going to be a challenge ahead, and I don't
Right.
expect anyone to give me a hand or help me out or tell me it's okay. I'm just going to push through and we'll make it happen. So by cutting out any excuses from me, holding myself accountable, I just had to keep up with my wife because she's unbelievable. So I'm
That's
like,
just, she's
I
running
gotta
with it.
learn. I gotta learn all this stuff, you know.
Yeah, I had a guest on a few episodes ago, and she played collegiate soccer and
Ah,
maybe professional. She was big soccer, and she credits a lot of like her tenacity and just making it happen for her kid because of all the lessons she learned through her sports. So
it's good to have
sports are
something.
huge. Yeah.
It's good to have something to fall back on. And sometimes it's sports, sometimes it's music, sometimes it's, you know, whatever you can dig deep and find. You know, Cole wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I had bus trips where I had to wake up at 3 in the morning, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
I can run on 3 hours of sleep, you
Right.
know. But
What were have you been through a few IEP meetings?
yep, yeah, we've had maybe 3 or 4 at least in the first year.
Yeah,
Like the
how are
initial,
those?
they're pretty good. They're pretty
Yeah.
good. I mean, obviously the staff comes prepared, but I'm the guy who walks in with the binder with everything from the last IEP meeting, what's been
Nice.
worked on. His teacher keeps us updated. And to be honest, the staff at the school is amazing.
That's great.
So you never feel like you're being cheated or they're not really working with him on as many things as they can be. So we just keep tabs and kind of keep everyone accountable for what they're doing. And we use the AAC device.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I got a hold of it. So I'm messing with it, putting in certain messages, like mama's tired, and hold, stuff like that. And they'll literally ask us, like, can you show the other parents how to use this? Can you
No way.
speak on behalf of the parents?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you get to go through all the different levels if you're adding 24 pictures or 40, 40 pictures on it. And learning that I kind of look forward to the IEP meetings
That's great.
because I like that challenge. There's never really much pushback on anything. I think initially we started off on the same page of what he needed.
Yeah.
So, but I from what I hear, they can be very tough. They can be strenuous and nerve wracking, and sometimes we have to fight a little bit for some stuff. But for I mean, Erin, who runs the ABA that we were with, she would come with us as an advocate.
Nice. Nice.
So it was me, Kayla, and Erin.
That's
And
huge.
they couldn't really get much by her because she did IEP meetings for her school as a special needs teacher. So when she walked in the room as well, it wasn't us guessing or thinking we needed things. It was she saw it.
She knew. Well, that's
Yeah,
huge you bring that up because that like I I'm coming out with an IEP course for parents in a couple months.
that's
It's an
awesome.
online course. It's 10 modules of the 10 sections of the IEP. And from my experience being the teacher on the other side of the table, I was in a handful of like the contentious meetings of parents fighting with school districts. And that's actually when I thought about starting this podcast. Because I was like, man, there's all these services, everything for the kids, which is great, but these parents don't, they're not equipped to be in these meetings. And so
Yeah,
they would come in kind of blind, and then the school district would have their way. And so now I'm not employed by any school district, so I can say whatever
yeah,
I want. And so I'm always on the parent side. I'm like, we got to get some more education in some of these families on how these IEPs should actually go. But it sounds like you guys have an incredible team, and that's exactly what the IEP is. It's an IEP team,
yeah,
and a lot of the times the parents are left out and they're not given a voice, but they're the most important person on the team.
yeah. Especially just in so many ways.
Right.
Like Coco doesn't. He's non-speaking. So if they're going in there and saying he doesn't need speech therapy, it's kind of a problem there,
Yeah.
but having me who's decently educated on it, my wife is unbelievable with it, and then having Erin with us as well. It's like if you have Erin with you, you feel like you got Mike Tyson walking into a room with you because it's like
Yeah.
she's done all the meetings. So when they see her as well, they're like, okay, we can't sneak anything by.
Right.
I can't thank the school district enough because like everyone there is just, we're very fortunate.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've heard so many bad stories, and for us, it's like if we bring something up like, hey, we're gonna need some more time with, the speech therapist can't talk to his teacher. Speech therapist needs to work with Cole,
Mm-hmm.
and it's added type of thing.
Right, right. Yeah, some of those meetings are crazy. I had one year where most of the meetings were filmed and recorded and lawyers were there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was intense, but it was interesting on my side because I was the teacher, so I'm kind of like the middleman to the district, and it's really the parents versus the district.
Hmm.
And I had one parent come up to me before one of the meetings, and she was like, "Hey, I just want you to know you're doing a great job, but in this meeting, it's going to get really intense because I don't think my son should be in your class." And then under my breath, I'm like, "I don't either."
Yeah.
I'm like, don't tell him. And then it was an intense meeting, and she was firing all everything, and she ended up getting her son placed in the correct program. But that's a lot of it. What it takes is the parent really advocating for themselves. And then another thing you bring up that a lot of families don't know is you can bring in whoever you want. You can
Yeah,
bring
you
in
can
a
bring in an advocate. You can bring
yeah,
in someone who's a little bit more trained, a little bit more seasoned, kind of knows the lingo and the verbiage of it all, because that can also be confusing. And sometimes I wouldn't call it your rights, but
yeah,
you also, I can see where you can be persuaded to take what they give you.
mm-hmm,
It really depends on how involved you are and what you might know. I mean, you can almost ask for anything you want. Doesn't mean you're going to get it.
right,
But you also don't have to accept anything that's just thrown at you without putting up a little bit of a fight.
right, right. No, that's some power knowledge right
That's
there.
awesome, man. You got to announce when you drop that because I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, I will.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
love it.
have the first module is gonna be free in like a couple weeks, so I'll make sure to let you know,
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
you can just see if you like it or not.
I'm
But
gonna take away everything I can from it. You know.
it's all for the parents because you guys are the true experts, and so I'm coming at it from a teacher's perspective, employed by a school district, and just kind of some of the hacks that I learned. And then right now I'm having an advocate. She's a retired advocate. She had her own practice for like 15 years, I think. She's reviewing it because some of my teacher language doesn't really fly, and I'm more laid back, and
Yeah,
she's cleaning up some of my language so it's a little bit more polished. So it should be good.
that's awesome. No, that's a big thing, man, because the parents are on this side, the teachers and district are on that side essentially, and where's the middle ground? Where's the person from that side that understands this side? Where's the parent that knows what it's like to be a teacher? Like there's a big gap. I think there's a sweet spot that you can try to find. Get what you can, get what your child needs, but I do think that there's common ground that doesn't create too much tension, and you just hope that you can find it,
And I
you
think
know.
a big misconception is, yeah, everybody is a professional in their field. Like the OT is a professional OT, PT, all that. But the parents are the professional in their child. And
Yeah.
so they
Yeah,
bring all
agreed.
their disciplines into the room. But ultimately, the parent's voice is the most important,
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
And you're hoping that you can make all of it work and that the curriculum can meet the kid, and it just
right.
there's a perfect match. I mean, it's an imperfect world, but
True.
I think if you can find a bunch of people that try to get on the same page,
Yeah.
that's always a good thing.
Right. And it's big also how you show up to the meeting because we I would have some parents come in like just ready to fight. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that's fine. Like, yes, you should advocate, but there's like that certain element of people skills where it's like let's work as a team.
yeah. So my approach when I walk in there is like I'm excited to be in there because we're going to talk about his progress and maybe things he needs to make improvements on. And I want to hear it. And I always tell them too. I'm like, if you guys are working on certain things and you know that he needs help in a classroom setting, like it's different because you guys get to work with him on other children interactions,
Yeah.
right? So that is something. I understand that. If he's having trouble turning doorknobs or putting puzzle pieces into puzzles, things like that, I always tell them I want to work on that at home so he's better at school as well. We're going to be better as a team, and if I can reinforce what you guys are doing, you guys can reinforce what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. So I'm
Right.
always going in there like, tell me what you know and what you think. I'll tell you what I know and what you think. I'm sure we can find some common ground and make this work because I'm not going anywhere. I care.
Right.
I care. So we can figure this out together. And it's worked. I don't know. It's worked.
Well, from the teacher standpoint, you guys are like the dream parents.
Yeah, it's like, well,
It's
and
like,
I give them a lot of respect. I'm like, you guys see him in the classroom. I don't. Right? I know how he's going to act with me. I understand that, and I'm not blind, and I know he's not going to act the same way with you, and I know he's going to have good days and bad days. Let's communicate ourselves and let's make this work. And it's kind of worked out. The teachers are
totally.
always nice.
Yeah.
That helps.
No, that's good. That's good. What are some of the challenges you face with Coco?
In many ways, for many parents, for me, it's the unknown.
Yeah.
I know him as a 4-year-old. 5 could be different. 6 could be different.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the beauty as a growing parent too. I had that conversation with my brother when his son was 5. I'm like, if you do it the right way, you're constantly growing as a parent
Yeah.
because you've never been the parent of a 6-year-old, of a 10-year-old. So
100%.
I said, the best part that I have now is I am trying to master what it's like to be Cole's father as a 4-year-old. But the difficulties are, he's eating this today. What if he stops eating it tomorrow? Because that is
Yeah.
that is a real challenge that we have is his eating habits. So those are scary challenges that we have. And then just obviously some of the challenges is that you're hoping that the people that he's around, whether it's at school, whether it's his peers, they're nice to him because
Yeah.
you always see your sweet child and you know that in certain ways they may not be able to fend for themselves. You just have to hope that other parents are doing their jobs and trying to raise good people in general.
Yeah.
So that is tough. I like to see myself as someone that's nice and someone that's understanding of other people's kids, especially as someone who coached baseball and taught many different kids in my life. That someone's going to see Cole and treat him the same way.
Yeah.
So that's a true challenge to hope that there's some good people out there.
Yeah, that's solid. Especially like on a higher level that you live in, being a professional athlete and what you expect of yourself, you expect that for your kids and other people to treat. I mean, that's hard. And then when they're not getting that respect, it's like
Yeah,
when
that's
you give the respect and you're not getting it, it's like, man, come on.
yeah, I know. You just hope people have a level of empathy and understanding and patience. It's the three saying of the person that you're looking at is either about to go through a life-changing event, they're going through a life-changing event, or they just got out of a life-changing event.
Just heard that the other day. I was like, that's good.
It's something along those lines of like you never know who you're approaching on any given day. So
Right.
I try to have that understanding even at work of like be patient with people because what happened yesterday isn't what happened today. So just try to be that person that's there for them. And if you put that energy into the world, then hopefully you can somewhat expect it back.
Yeah, so good. What are some of the joys of raising
I don't know if he has his difficult times, but I don't know if there's a happier person. You
that's
know, I,
awesome.
I think when I look at him and when I'm around him and when I'm with him, it makes me realize how beautiful the simple things are.
Yeah.
I think kids kind of reinvigorate that into the parents where you're worried about work and the bills and this and that. And then you see a kid just staring at a rock or, and
Yeah,
you're like, I got to be able to find that joy in the small things.
totally.
So that's, that's the beauty of it is just
Yeah.
seeing that level of innocence in him and just the small things that make him happy. And
Yeah.
I think that pulls me back from the business world so many times of like just calm down, because most of this stuff's not going to matter tomorrow.
Mm.
Be in the moment in so many ways, because you can always answer that email. You're not always going to be able to catch that moment on camera and stuff like that. So when I'm with him, I'm always present and living in his world, because it's the most beautiful thing there is. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Would you say that's the biggest change he's made in your life? Or how has he changed you as a person?
He's been my greatest life coach. I know that sounds good to say, like realistically it does, but my level of patience, because that's where it rides the line, because I have such high expectations of myself. And like, whether it's baseball, whether it's business, you start at the bottom, you work your way through the mud, you try to get to the top, and then you give back to the people beneath you and pull them up with you. Right. So it's always been grind it out, make it work, figure it out. No one's going to care. And then you have Coco and you're like, be patient, take your time, have empathy.
The
There's
whole other side of it.
different talents, different strengths. So I'd say it's kind of like becoming a parent. The way I say it to my friends that don't have children, I'm like, it's like unlocking a door,
Yeah.
right? When you get married, you unlock a door that your single friends haven't been in that room. When you become a parent, you've now unlocked a level of life that you haven't had in the past. And when you have a special needs kid, it unlocks that next door, where my perspective as a parent is completely different than my brother's.
Mm-hmm.
Neither are right or wrong, they're just different.
Yeah.
So I've been very fortunate to take a peek on both sides, and have just done my best to try to embrace it every day, because every day can be a challenge.
Totally. It's that
you know
mindset that gets you through. It's funny. I was just talking to my brother about this. Growing up, I have two brothers, so we were raised like, put your game face on, figure it out,
yeah, yeah.
work hard, make it happen. Just no excuses, make it happen. And then we were joking, we're like, that was all great. It's really helped us in life, but he didn't really teach us how to take the game face off.
That.
So then you bring up the
Yep.
empathy, the patience, and it's like, okay, yeah, we do need to kind of calm down and just live in the moment a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I don't know if it's a generational thing, but
Could be.
our parents are also from a different generation where that's kind of been it. And I was always the runt of the family. So my oldest brother's 7 years older than me, so he's mid-40s at this point in time. So when I was 10, I was trying to play baseball with seniors in high school. And it
Right.
was like, keep up, dude, or you're not getting picked next week. I'm 10, I'm 10. So, but yeah, no, you're right. It's how do you take the game face off? And that's been something I've had to adjust to,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, that's great. Tell me about Between the Lines. What that's the podcast you're about to launch. What's your goals with that?
So initially, as I mentioned to initially, the idea was I was going to talk to athletes. And this is 7, 8 years ago. This is, talking to athletes from 9 years old to 90 years old, baseball, football, basketball. One of my best friends, CJ, runs a gym in New York, and I played college baseball with him in Miami. He went to Bethune-Cookman. It's talking to people like him that work with and train professional athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting back into the world, I think for me
Okay.
was one of the biggest things of being kind of an introvert at times.
Yeah.
Because, as that parent, you're also putting on a mask to protect yourself, to protect your kid, protect your family. And you're building up that callus on your hands
Yeah.
to protect and learn this new world. And it's kind of my way of getting back into the world, to talk to people like you with experience that I can selfishly pick your brain and learn from.
Right.
So between the lines is just between the lines of life, not just a baseball field or a soccer field or anything like that.
Okay.
It's just all walks of life.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an athlete, just talking to parents
Yeah.
and just learning from people. It's kind of my way of learning. and
Yeah.
understanding different viewpoints from people. So selfishly, I'm using it for me as an educational tool.
Totally. Well, it's funny because, yeah, I started this podcast in the hopes to get stories out from parents. Just everyone, all my students' parents and everyone, I'm like, man, you guys have incredible stories. The
Yeah,
world needs to hear them and everybody can learn from it. There's power in it. And at the end of the day, hopefully bring some hope into everybody's journey. But it's
yeah.
interesting because I started the podcast in the hospital 10 or coming on a year now. A year ago, my wife was diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
And we were in the hospital. I had a buddy come up. He came up and hung out with me, and he's like, "Yo, when are you going to start your podcast?" And I'm like, "Dude, I can't do it right now." And he's like, "I guarantee you that when you start hearing other people's journeys, it's going to speak to you more than you like your hopes to get parent stories out there." And it was spot on. Like every guest, I mean, I'm learning a ton from this podcast. Every guest that comes on, I'm like, man, I needed to hear that today. Thank you.
And you know what, Zach? Let me tell you this, and it's not just because we're talking, but I've been listening to Gary Vaynerchuk. Great
Okay.
entrepreneur. I love him. He talks about like he's kind of our mentality of like just suck it up and do it. And he
Right.
talks about you want to start a podcast as long as you have one listener, it's better than zero. What's your excuse? So I was like, he's bringing this back up. Maybe this is something. And then I started seeing you and then talk to you, and I'm like, God, the universe is like pushing me. And I saw your content, and it was hilarious at the same time deep in so many ways. And I'm like, God, he's awesome. I was like,
Thanks.
damn it, I have no excuse. I have no excuse now for doing something that I've wanted to do and then watching you do it. It was amazing to watch you and then going through your clips. And I'm like, don't like them all. It'll look like a stalker. But it was like all of your stuff is so good and funny. And then like you have such a funny video and then such a like deep video. It's
Yeah.
such a great coverage of what you do. And I'm like, that's essentially what I want to do
Oh,
is
you should do it, man.
yeah.
You got a story, you got a voice. I mean, you'll get listeners, no doubt
Yeah, and
about it.
and too, man, it's gonna be so good to talk to people. I have to have you on because I got to hear more about your story.
Be happy
Even what
to.
even what you posted today about never going back to teaching and then going through like
Yeah.
you would rather do 3 cold tubs a day than go back to teaching. And then you go through it and then you start to see your story of what the post meant. It's just like this perfect build up.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't ever want to be a teacher again. I mean, I'm thankful for it. It was a blast. I loved hanging out with the students. I just couldn't deal with the nonsense.
Well, that was the thing for me growing up in school. I found out initially how to get C's so I could play sports. And then I realized later on I had to get it together. But I had
Right.
always had a tough time with the school system itself.
Yeah.
My joke now is, I spent 11 to 12 years learning about Pluto. And then 2 years after I left high school, Pluto's no longer a planet. So who was really right?
Right.
So it was kind of being put into those kinds of lines, but I made sure that with Cole, I would never transfer that kind of energy to him.
Yeah.
So then to see him, so his mom's very book smart. She's 5 times smarter than I am. So seeing him run into school was like a breath of fresh air for me because I didn't want that underlying, kind of that underlining trait to pass through. If that's a
Right.
real thing, I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's great to see him love school.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, between the lines, I can't wait for it to come out.
I'm excited. You have to be on. You have to be on.
Anytime. It's I got invited to be on. I haven't been on too many podcasts as like a guest. I've been on a few. I just got invited to be on one. But it's always funny being on the other side.
Yeah, I know. Even telling a little bit about yourself and your story, it's always like it's weird to repeat your story or versions of it or portions of it,
Right. Right.
you know.
But a
So
lot of it too, it's healing when you start sharing it.
It is. And just kind of writing down and learning how to tell your story, not just your
Right.
story in general, but how do you walk someone through it, or how do you explain your life or your baseball career, your golf career
Yeah.
in 5 to 6 sentences.
Right.
That can also be very tough. So,
Totally.
it's definitely interesting. It
Yeah.
really is.
When do you think you'll kick it off?
I'm
I'm
hoping
gonna be bugging. I'm gonna be
I'm hoping maybe in the next month. I'm literally
nice.
Yeah, I have a number of guests already lined up. I've just been kind of connecting some of the dots of like whether you're using Riverside and putting stuff out there, but as soon as I announced it, I knew I was holding myself accountable.
Yeah.
That was
That's
one of the
it.
other things. I didn't even have a Gmail account, to be
Wow.
honest. Like I didn't have
Yeah.
an email for it. I'm like, just announce it and then the game face is on.
Yep.
There's no excuse.
Well, that's what happened to me. We recorded my first episode on my phone, and then my brother-in-law posted it, and I'm like, dude, we're not like, why'd you post it? We're not ready. And he's like, we are now.
That's awesome.
All
Hey,
right,
I
here we
know.
go.
Same thing with me. I'm like, do I do it on my phone? Do I do it on my laptop? You're just trying to figure it all out. And then you're like, just start.
Just start.
Just
Yep.
go. It's going to be messy.
Yeah.
And if you do it the right way, you'll look back and say, I can't believe I did it this way.
Right.
It's better than never starting, though.
Well, I look back at my first handful of episodes we recorded in RV. It's just like,
That's great.
this is all I got. I mean, I still don't have like a polished studio. I got a
Yeah,
microphone now,
that's nice.
but we'll close it out with one more question. What would you say to any parent out there that's just like receiving a diagnosis or early on in the game? What kind of advice would you give them?
Spend time and get to know your kid. Block out the noise. You're going to have a lot of opinions. And I'd say the number one thing is as soon as you build quick skin and build that callus, you will be fine. The
Mm-hmm.
more confident you are in yourself and what you're doing, and you're not always going to be right. You're not. But if you're making the decisions rather than listening to the outside voices, you'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
When it comes to other parenting advice, in many aspects, and I mean it with all due respect to so many people, it's like I just don't care because I know what I need to do. No one knows my son the way me and my wife do. So
Mm-hmm.
every decision I make is it's what's best for him. And just stand in that and never wait on other people's opinions and don't care.
Yeah.
Realistically,
Yeah.
it's there's a saying, it goes something along the lines of don't take to heart the criticisms from the people you wouldn't seek advice from. So if I'm not going to ask you your advice in certain
Oh.
areas, why do I care what you think about me?
Yeah.
And you realize it's such a small circle of people that, hey man, I'm running into an issue. Like, let me talk to you. Let me pick your brain on this.
That's
Those are the
good.
people that you're going to care about. Hey, I think you're messing up a little bit here because I've known you for 20 years. Or hey, we've been real good friends for a year and I'm seeing this change in you. That's the person you want the advice from.
Right. Right.
So it's determining who's going to be brutally honest with you when you need it.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that brutal honesty.
Yep.
I really do. It's tough to take sometimes. I do it to myself. I put
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
couple pounds and I get
Right.
on myself like, look at you. You used to be a professional athlete. And I drop a couple pounds and I'm fine with myself again. I do. I think it's along those lines of know yourself. Once you get that diagnosis, take whatever time you need to process it. Find your team and find what you want to do and go with it.
Yeah.
And you will
That's
be
good.
fine. That is the life you will know. Other people's perspective isn't going to matter.
That's good.
And they can
That's
always call
good.
Zach if they have any questions.
Hey, they're
you
calling
know,
you, man.
we are
Through the
here,
lines.
dude. We are here for anyone who runs into this when it posts or in the future, because we're not going anywhere either.
Right. So
So
good. Well, Chris, thanks for being on. That was a blast. I mean, your guys' mindset is just killer.
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate it, man. It's great talking to you, and I gotta hear more of you, more of your
Yeah.
side of it too, man.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
look
that's for
forward to
sure.
that.
Dude, that is awesome. Thank you very much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Of course.